everybody? We are live right after the game this time, right after the final buzzer, basically, as Ja Morant and the Grizzlies do come back to beat the Timberwolves in probably what was one of the better playoff games all of the NBA this year. So excited, Ashwin's sneezing. But no, it was a good game. It did not start good. This game started abysmal. It was quite bad. Timberwolves kept the lead until the very end, basically. Some really frustrating plays down the stretch, defensively and offensively. I mean, if you watch this game fully, you understand that the Timberwolves are new to playoff basketball. There's a lot of things that happened that were just bad things. I mean, like not taking your time on possessions, just bad defense and crucial moments. But the Timberwolves really took the Grizzlies out of the game for 90% of it. So, all in all, just a warning, I'm not going to be too down tonight. I certainly wish we would have won, have a chance to clinch in Game 6 at home. But this does give me hope for a 7th game if we have one. But yeah, how are you feel? What's your immediate reaction after the game?
Not too great. I will say, last couple minutes were pretty intense. It's really about the 22 turnovers. We could have won this game a lot more handedly, just by being more disciplined and being more in control. It felt like even missed shots were almost just straight up turnovers. I feel like D'Lo had some of the worst decision making I've seen from him, and even with an 8-assist game, it felt like there were 20 other turnovers that he caused or was a part of. I felt like we had this game when Cat made that 3, and when Cat made those 3 free throws to get JJ out of the game. All we needed to do was slow the game down and play pretty solid. And it kind of really stings, but I'm having a hard time processing the end there. But I guess you got what you wanted, huh?
Well, everybody's going off on me in the Discord. I expected this to be a blowout. So for this to be a close game, obviously this is hard. This hurts.
It's the playoffs. Of course it's not gonna be a blowout.
Yeah, right. We're playing the Grizzlies. This team can go off at any time. They beat us by 20 or 30 in a game already this series.
That we bowed down to. We just choked away that whatever that game was. This game could not have been any more by the book. No team got ahead by 10. I think I straight up just said that out loud yesterday. It was not going to get past that. And it came down to free throws. I feel like that was totally on point. Threes, we had a giant lead, and offensive rebounding. And it was the MVPs that we've been talking about since day one. Clark.
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks, when it mattered. He was pretty awful, but when it mattered, he had that 3.
Yeah.
Bane, and then, of course, Ja came out of nowhere in a lot of ways. He was expecting to get something. But I think the refs kind of gave him this game. So, I don't know. I'm really mad about that. I want to blame the refs. But I don't know, man. This was not going to be a blowout game.
Yeah, I guess my counterpoint is that they missed 100 free throws, and they missed a bunch of open shots that easily could have swung it the other way. So for us to be close, you're right. I mean, we gave away the game at the end in the fourth quarter in general. There were so many moments in the fourth quarter where we gave it away. Finch used his timeouts this time, and I thought they were pretty well timed. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of D'Lo mistakes. I mean, McLaughlin out there looks amazing compared to D'Lo. It's really frustrating every time D'Lo has the ball. Even it's just I don't know. It's just frustrating. We run the same set on offense every time. We did it for the past last 5 or 6 plays of the game. It's frustrating, but we saw some big shots from Ant and Cat tonight. Ant defensively on that last possession is super questionable. I don't know why we're committing that much to pressing up on Ja when Obviously, he's not. I mean, he just made a three not that long ago, but like, if he
doesn't
beats
have
you
an
on a
outside
three,
shot.
if he beats you on a three or a long two, you might just have to live with it. Yeah. You know, you don't let him get to the rim. He finishes everything at the rim. So that annoys me. Also, another Ant play where he got the offensive rebound and immediately put it back up.
Yeah,
just take your time.
Pull it back out.
Yeah, and
those are mistakes I do understand.
Mm-hmm.
Ant is just there, right? But I think the 7 turnovers from Cat are very questionable.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm looking at the box score and I'm seeing 16 turnovers from the veterans, Karl Anthony Towns, Patrick Beverley, and D'Angelo Russell. And they were all like fucking preventable. They were all awful. They were all disastrous. And like half of them are probably offensive fouls. You know, it's just like the dumbest shit. We are such a young, untamed team. We cannot figure this out. We have one good defensive play by Cat with that block, and then he pushes off and gets an offensive foul.
Yeah.
He has that three. He smiles to the crowd, and then he gets those 3 free throws, and he shushes to the crowd, and then he doesn't do a damn thing for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was Cat right there, straight up.
Yeah,
I'm happy that he didn't foul out, but he was close to us several times.
Yeah, early on, I mean, okay, so I know a lot of people lately have been taking their victory laps on Cat having a good game or two, but realistically, we kind of talked about this in the last show. Like his last game wasn't really that good. He just scored.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah, he scored the amount that we're used to seeing, or he rebounded the amount that we were used to seeing. It's kind of the same thing tonight. He did make some timely buckets tonight, but 7 turnovers, and there were some really egregious ones tonight. Decision making also part of those turnovers, like the pass and crash, which we've seen a million times now. I will say the one thing that I will really commend Towns on tonight was his rebounding. I thought rebounding, he was really in there fighting. I mean, Brandon Clark is still able to beat him on occasion, but like there were times where Towns was in amongst multiple defenders and getting rebounds. So props to him for that. Props to him for the scoring. But we just like, we're not going to win a playoff series if we don't play smarter. And this is exactly what and of course now the TNT crew is going to go off because they just call it, and they're not even necessarily wrong. I mean, they clearly don't watch Timberwolves basketball, but at the same time, they know enough about basketball to watch the Timberwolves and be like, yep, they're dumb. Because
we've seen every game this season. Yeah. What is Timberwolves basketball, Cameron?
Nothing. I mean, there's no Timberwolves basketball.
Yeah.
It's playing to the opponent's level and hoping you beat them at their level. Really, that's all it is.
Or gets blacked out because you can't watch it.
But yeah, I mean, offensively, we have some kind of a rhythm, I guess, flow. But I don't know. It's just we when do we get into a situation? Never are there games where we get into a fourth quarter in a away game where even we're up, it's like we have this feeling, the crowd is roaring, and they're like, yeah, we know we're coming back to win. We know it. The other team does. Every time. And every time I'm like, yep, you're right. You're about to come back. Because we just don't have the mental toughness. You can see how nervous we get, every player, when we get to those kind of key situations. Towns is acting a little bit more freakish and voltagey. Even D'Lo is acting weird and trying to do all these crazy things and draw fouls in ways that he never draws fouls and spinning layups. It's just weird stuff starts happening.
He looks so bad.
Yeah,
and bad.
I hate it. D'Lo, I mean, I was really looking forward to D'Lo in the playoffs, and he's had his moments for sure. I mean, the play-in game, obviously, one of these games I can't remember.
2 or 3 minutes of this game.
Yeah, but he's just been nothing. He has been, as we say on the tier list, kind of Wancho level at times. He's taking away from the team because he's our point guard, even though I think today in the shoot around, he said, I'm not a point guard. I'm just a guard or something like that. And it's like, you do run our offense, Sure, Pat Bev runs it a lot in the beginning, but man, I don't know. One thing I will note also, Pat Bev, there was multiple times tonight where Pat Bev did the things that I was talking about in one of the previous games where he kind of is getting these impact moments at the wrong time for the home crowd, for the Grizzlies fans. Like, he's getting fouls at bad times for them to all start cheering. He's getting into skirmishes and stuff like that at the wrong times, and like the crowd's getting back into it when we were already taking the crowd out. And it's like, when we're up, I don't really want the Pat Bev BS of like trying to get into players' minds and stuff like that, or like the small thing, I really just want to keep the crowd out of it. I don't want to get the crowd back in how he does. But
yeah. That last possession in the third quarter, which if you played it at like 7, 3/4 time, halftime, quarter time, you'll see that Beasley's straight up and gets the blocking call.
Yeah,
that was a monstrous dunk by Ja Morant that should have been Gabe Vincented, right? Straight up, should have been an offensive foul.
Yeah.
In a weird way, I'm glad they didn't call that, but that was the turning point in this game.
Yeah.
They should have called it, and they didn't. And it went from 13 to 11, and even with that lead, any lead with Minnesota is never safe. But right then, we had them on the ropes. The crowd was barely engaged. I could hear some woman in the fifth row screaming, "I got to get home for dinner." And so they were thinking about what they had to eat. They were thinking about getting some wine and coming back the next day. That's what they should have felt like the whole fourth quarter. But we fell on our swords. We tried our best, but our best is exactly what this showed. Like, we need a runway. We need some bandwidth here. We need some like 6 or 7 point lead, because I don't trust this team at all in the clutch. I cannot believe that ATO to get Ant that 3, and it was just a prayer, but it was unbelievable. It was so sick. That J-Mac pass was so on point.
Yep.
But how did it get to that point? How did it get to that lead? Like, how did that lead just evaporate in a matter of just mere seconds? We showed no character out there. We showed that we needed to chuck. We needed to do some stupid oops, like throughout the game that like Vando couldn't catch. Cat wanted to, be on ESPN. All those plays build up into a 1-point loss, 2-point loss. Sorry, my bad. All that shit. You say, they missed a bunch of free throws, 1,000 free throws.
They did.
They missed a bunch of threes. That is so correct. That's partially the game plan. We had 22 turnovers. That's not really the game plan.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of missed shots. We should counter every missed shot with their missed shot, but nah, this was ours for the taking, and we fucked it up. We choked it up. 22 turnovers. That's the name of the game. The refs had to play in this for sure. I'm stressed. I'm mad. I hope it goes 7.
I hope it goes 7 too. I want to see these teams play 7 games. I think this is fun. And I know it's soul crushing right now, but I'm telling you, this team, we're just so young, and I know they are too, but we're so young, so inexperienced. They've had playoff experience last year. We didn't. The only playoff experience Towns has is through Tibbs, and that was terrible. I think you look at this game, and of course, I'm not trying to say that like the Timberwolves played great, but that's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, I think my whole thing about this, and I know this is probably not what people want to hear 30 seconds after a buzzer beating layup, but like, this team has, D'Lo is a concern. Cat has always been a concern, but overall, like, going into either game 6 and 7 possibly, or if you look even further into the future, I mean, this is all good experience. We need this experience to learn. We have a coach that's going to be with us for more than a year now. We have players that are going to be with us for more than a year now. And next year is somewhat of a deciding year for a lot of players. I mean, D'Lo contract year. I know I'm getting way ahead of ourselves, but like,
yeah, you are.
But like, that is the future, And I don't think any of us coming into this series thought, wow, the Timberwolves are going to win. I know actually a lot of people in chat did think that. I guess I never believed that we were going to win this series. So for me, seeing us fight in games, given we did lay down at the end here, I don't know. I'm not as emotionally scarred from this game as I think other people will be. But I'm excited for Game 6, and I hope we win. But yeah, I mean, I just think that this Timberwolves team, I'm trying to enjoy it. I'm just trying to enjoy it, and I enjoyed this game. So.
Oh, I don't know if I enjoyed much of this game. It's hard to watch. I think there was some unsung heroes. Jordan McLaughlin, of course, was great, just being a pace setter. Torian Prince, incredible, just to get those boards and being a secondary playmaker. Even though he wasn't making his shots, he was there getting to the free throw line and kind of just curbing any pace. I think Naz Reid had a hell of a first half when Kat got into foul trouble. It's really cool to see that. Beasley played a hell of a first stint and then had a awful play call go against them or whatever, and then really didn't see the court again. It's awesome. Ant was interesting. Ant had a great kind of steady first half, but he didn't really provide anything else other than points. And another key aspect to this game was rebounding. And by himself, Brandon Clark out rebounded us. Essentially, it felt like. But offensively, he did 9 offensive rebounds to hit our 6.
Jeez.
Some of them were a little, controversial. Maybe an over the back on Jordan McLaughlin. We'll see in the 2-minute report. That doesn't matter. I hope Finch talks about it post game. I think it's incredible how much they got away with. But it really just came down to heart and energy and boxing out and playing to the demands of this game. You're saying playing to the competition. Well, if Memphis is a better team, we should play to their competition. We should play to the level of their competition. And that is rebounding. That is boxing out. That is every man down low getting a rebound. We didn't get that. We didn't see that. We had so much opportunity for kind of closing this game out early in the fourth. And we just didn't have the will. And we didn't, I don't know, maybe Ant with his early 5th foul, he didn't know how to get back in the game other than shooting and not being aggressive defensively. So I think that last play also was pretty obscene to jump ahead of Ant, jump ahead of Ja. I think that's just lack of awareness. But he's young, and putting a young player like that in that situation sucks. But he's shown that he's been able to prove that he's played well defensively this season. So you give him that assignment. You're going to get burned when an opportunity that's unique presents itself.
Yeah. And I just, the whole fourth quarter is somewhat of a mystery to me just because of, well, it's not a mystery. I just don't know why we started doing things that we did. We started to let Ja drive suddenly. We were the whole game, we were very okay with people taking threes and missing. They were missing a lot. But then suddenly we're like, you know what? Ja, you can get to the paint, and we're going to watch you do whatever you want to do. And it continued all the way up until the last play. It's certainly, a frustrating loss. And all of my positivity, I'm not saying that this isn't disappointing. Of course it is. But yeah, this was a disappointing loss. Lots of mistakes, tons of deal mistakes. You mentioned it earlier. The lobs drives me insane. But the lobs that he was doing to Vando, when do we do this? What's that? There's a meme. I can't remember. When do you do this? Tell me when you practice this and do this. Never. That doesn't happen. And it's just, I don't know, just signs of a young team. But
100%. And really, we could have been in and out of this show with a 30-second clip of just saying Charles Barkley's right. We're just dumb as rocks.
Yeah.
We're a young team. Yet we are in there in the closing seconds of every game, So it's there is some testament to what we've been doing up until now. It's just, I don't know, man. The culture of this, this team is great, but it's it doesn't show itself on the court on a consistent basis. And so it's hard to really figure out what the fuck our team is.
Yeah, and again, I just don't think we're going to know until next year or even the next year. This is just what happens with young teams. And, I believe in Ant, mainly Ant. I was going to say maybe Towns, not really. It'll be interesting to see what our team is, I think it's disappointing now, but realistically, this is our first playoff appearance. And the Grizzlies are certainly a beatable team, and I'm not even counting us out of the series yet. I think we could win Game 6 and 7. I don't think that's impossible. Clearly, we could have won tonight. But yeah, I don't know. Well, do you want to get into the tier list?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let me start sharing. I didn't even pay attention to the over-under or anything. This game, I was too busy watching. Let's see here.
Big boy got it. Carl hit over 6.5 free throws. D'Lo over 6.5 assists and under 3.5 threes. Patrick Beverley under 10.5 points. That's a little sad. J-Mac over 11 minutes. I'm so happy about that. Chicken Squad, I'm assuming, under there was no protest. That means we lost, apparently.
Oh, there wasn't.
And then Wolves' biggest lead at the end of a quarter, over 7.5. It was 11 at the end of 3.
Yeah. Disappointing.
Yeah.
Last thing I will say before we get into the tier list is, yes, it's a shame that we were up 11 going into the fourth. The home team is always going to have the advantage going into the fourth quarter. So you have, regardless of team, they're going to have the advantage just because any momentum swing, the crowd's ready. It doesn't matter what it is. And unfortunately, they had a great momentum swing to end the third quarter. But so they already have the advantage. And this is just going to be good going forward for the Timberwolves. Being nationally exposed in some ways, Towns being exposed. I think Towns really only cares about the national media. I don't think he cares about the home media. So him to be able to get feedback from people like Charles, even though it's mocking him at times, like people mocking him and stuff like that, I think it will be valuable for him and maybe teach him, because it doesn't work with Pat Bev teaching him. It doesn't work with Finch teaching him. It doesn't work with John Krasinski, Dane Moore, whoever you want to say. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about them, but I think he does care about the national media. So maybe this is a learning experience for him, but I think it is going to take the full series and maybe even a loss of the series. Anyways, do we got Kobe back? Shout out to the Wolves, man. This team making us work our ass off. Yeah, I will say, you could make the argument that the Grizzlies were just off tonight, and maybe they were, but I do think that our defense at times is causing that. Obviously we're completely changing Ja's game plan up until the fourth quarter tonight. So yeah, interesting. Nightbot, very timely today. Kat says he'll do another behind the back turnover if you don't subscribe. Guess what? He had 7 turnovers today.
Wow. That was a between the legs into a travel. How about that?
That was the worst. I hated that so much. Immediate Wancho tier. No, Glenn Taylor.
You want to start with the starters? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Well, we'll go.
Honestly,
I'll try to go. We have some people on the bench that deserve some grades, I think.
Go ahead.
Let's start with Naz Reid. So Naz Reid, 9 points, 2 rebounds. He was 4-7 shooting. Came in after Kat got 2 quick fouls. Actually, he did not come in right after he got because Kat got 2 fouls 4 minutes into the game, and then stayed in for another additional 5 minutes and didn't pick up a foul. Amazing. But then Naz came in and it was like, okay, here goes any bit of comfort that we had. Wrong. He came in and that unit played great. That set us up for the rest of the second and third quarters to really get somewhat of a lead. And that weirdly was like more of a fun lineup to have out there than our starters tonight. So for me, I think Naz, he just ping pongs back and forth between the top and the bottom of the tier list. I almost want to give him an A, but I think I'm going to give him a B tonight.
Yeah, he was solid. Just unplayable in the second half, and that sucked. I think there was just a headier team in the second half that knew how to adjust. And Naz Reid, I'm glad you got production. It feels good to probably be on the scoreboard. We need every point, for every ounce from you, whenever any minute from you, whenever you can, because we're probably going to ride Cat for 44 minutes tomorrow on Thursday or Friday, I think. So I'm glad that you got you're in right now. I mean, it's gonna suck to see Game 6 and not have you there, but whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I know I see Gerald saying he's a D. I don't think he was that bad. I thought of course, normal Naz, if we just look at Naz over the last 10 games, yes, he's not good. But tonight, this was better than I expected from him. So I'm going to give him a B. Unless anybody objects crazy. If you object crazy, let me know. But But yeah.
No, it's a B. You're in such a good mood, man.
Yeah, you're in such a bad mood. It's scaring me. But Malik Beasley, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 3 of 8 shooting. Overall, I mean, Malik's just disappointing me so much in these playoffs. I was so ready for him, and I've been so ready for him the whole season. And he's just not. What am I going to say? He's just not coming. He's just not here. We need him to be making more threes. We need him to be making himself available and open for threes, and he's just not. Like when he's out on the floor, he's not getting open. He's getting some rebounds, and he's playing not his normal level of regular season defense, but like, yeah, I think it's just bad. Honestly, maybe a D for Beasley.
No, I thought he played really well. 6 rebounds in this short stint, incredible in my opinion. He had a couple turnovers, which probably wasn't the best, but he had that knockdown 3 in the beginning of the game. His stint was to get points. He had that layup that was high arcing, and that was awesome to see. He's expected to do a lot, yeah, sure, but it was like riding the right hand, and I think Prince to sub for Ant was accurate. McLaughlin to sub for Beverly Russell was accurate. Where is Beasley fitting into this? I kind of wish there was more Beasley minutes, but we had to have control of the game, and McLaughlin was that person. Yep. Beasley can't do that. And also his D is inept, but they were missing shots, so Beasley kind of can come out there and a little bit and extend his run. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and say C.
C. Okay. Cool. Next up, you were just talking about him, Jordan McLaughlin. So this is another one of those players, like we've said about Jaden in the past, where you're really not going to be able to gauge it off of their stats. But he had 2 points, 4 assists, 2 steals, only 1 of 3 shooting. But really, he took control over the game when he was out there. It felt a lot better when he was out there. And yeah, I don't know. I feel pretty good about Jordan tonight. It wasn't like some insanely amazing. I mean, it wasn't like the last game. The last game was insane. But this was a good game, better than I expect. I think I'm maybe going to B.
Yeah, I agree. I think in a lot of ways, 17 minutes was 17 too few. I think in ways he outplayed Russell, even though I'll put like the box score doesn't show that. I think he had a good handle, especially in that run in the second quarter, that second stint, or the second quarter stint was just, that's usually the scariest time on our team. Like when Cat's like out for 8 minutes almost, how does this team operate? How can we rely on our size that is not there? McLaughlin brought it. I really appreciate his effort here, and I wish we had more opportunity to see him be aggressive. His 1-3 looked in. And if that went in, I guess we win. I don't know. So like, I want to see a little more dosage of McLaughlin at home for home cooking. I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I graded him. B is fine.
I was like, I don't even remember what I graded him. We'll give him a B. Good on you, Little Mac. Last of the bench players, Taurean Prince, who stepped up tonight. And really hasn't done that any other playoff game so far. 10 points in 18 minutes, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. I actually thought for a while when he first came in, I was like, oh no, this is going to be awful, because he like threw up some weird layup, and I don't know. It was just like, he had an offensive foul too. But no, this ended up being a pretty decent. I mean, he was steady in the third quarter when we needed him to be steady. I'd probably give him a C tonight, just because I do expect this out of Prince. But just based off of real, like, recent games, maybe a little higher. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, C+, B-. I think, it's hard to really equate his output to like, double digits. Like, what I think he's more serving is a spell for Vando or Ant, and he gave us more by just kind of being a piece there to take charges or to offensive rebound or get to the line. I think his sneaky, crafty play to get to the line was great. A couple plays, I think there was too much Prince at one point, where there was like the ball was going to his hands and he was just driving a lot. And that's a test. It's great that we have that. It's like kind of shitty to like share it and show it off and be like, look at world. We don't know what we're doing. We have Prince driving. Look at that. on TNT. It's amazing to see. I wish he were sitting in the corner and we wouldn't be bailed out by him kind of like running to the rim. I think that's my one my one flaw against him, and I would say probably C. Now that I'm talking about it, I wish Finch was a little bit more have like a short leash with Prince too when he has those drives. Like realize that I understand why he's doing it. It's just it cannot happen. I think our offense needs to be honed in. We have 48 or whatever 2-3 days to figure this shit out, but I don't know. I can't stress enough how little impact it has when Prince drives to the rim. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So he needs to sit and make threes. I'm sorry. And then take charges and get rebounds and just be hustle and be a voice as a veteran on the bench. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the bench, that's the end of the bench. Now, on to the starters. And whoops, I missed Jaden McDaniels. Jaden McDaniels, we'll just do him quick because, again, he doesn't really have that many stats. 3 points in 17 minutes, 2 blocks, 2 rebounds, and assist. He actually was our highest plus player tonight, but he did have 5. Or no, he only had 3 fouls. Why did I think he had 5 fouls? 3 fouls. I guess I don't even know what to think. I feel like Jaden, he's always on defense deterrent for them, but I think we didn't really get to see it that much because they just passed out of it, maybe? Not sure. I guess I'm thinking maybe a C for Jaden.
Yeah.
Recover.
I think he's
regain.
Yeah. He's outclassed in this matchup, I think. And he can't play the 4, and we're asking him to play the 4. Mm-hmm. I don't know. He can't muscle Brandon Clark. Why is he out there versus Brandon Clark? He's there to create space and to be a pest against the Jaws and the Brooks and the Baines of the world. But now he's asking to be, playing down low against Brandon Clark. Massive L to Finch for putting McDaniels in that position. Massive L.
Yeah. Cool. Well, now we're on to the starters. So let's start with Vanderbilt. 6 points, 10 rebounds, 3 of 5 dunking, 2 turnovers, only 1 personal foul, and poor Vando got so many weird things thrown at him, but also kind of ran with it, and I didn't like it. But he was trying to drive at times, and I'm like, this is not your game. He was being thrown alley-oops from within inside the paint while he was under the basket. Just a weird game for Vando. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Vando's night tonight?
Yeah, honestly, I wish we had more than 20 minutes from him just to kind of offset Brandon Clark. Mm-hmm. Like I said, foul and foul hard and foul often, because 22 minutes is, if that's what we're expecting, I want to see more aggressiveness from you. And yeah, maybe, you're out of position or whatever, but that's bullshit. We can't have you out of position. We need more than 1 offensive rebound from you. I think 10 rebounds is great to see. It's kind of justifying your existence. But 3 dunks, a bunch of turnovers, and just I don't know, man. I need to see more out of him. But the way that we used him in Game 4 was incredible, and I don't know. I'm worried about how we're perceiving our matchups moving on, because, dear God, Brandon Clark kicked our ass, and we had no answer. And you know what our answer is? It's Vando and box and gang rebound and double down on who we're boxing out. And when we don't have that, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I think the thing that scares me about Memphis is that if you put Vando then, or really anybody, rotates over to Clark to stop him from his wide open dunks and rebounds, then there's an open 3-point shooter. So there's like this part of me that believes that it's intentional, maybe, to have the 3-point shot defended, but not Clark. But it drives me crazy because literally for the entire Timberwolves existence, Brandon Clark has killed us. His averages against us have to be mind-boggling. I said it in the Discord. Shout out the Discord. If Brandon Clark played, if he only played against the Timberwolves, he'd be an MVP candidate because he is insane. He's averaging probably close to like 15, 20 points. He's averaging about the same amount of rebounds. It's crazy, and it's frustrating because they're hustle plays. They have to crowd into it. But yeah, I don't know how you. I guess I don't really know how you solve that. Maybe Vando is that option, but I don't know. That's the thing that scares me about Memphis, or really any team that has capable 3-point shooters and a hustle guy. So, yeah, I guess Vando tonight, kind of all over the place, averaging out to maybe like a C- or something like that, probably.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
Well,
Next
this
up,
is not getting away from me right now. This is so stupid.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna keep.
I should have said that. I shouldn't
I'm
have
gonna
said
keep
anything.
going. But Patrick Beverley, 9 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 5 turnovers, and 6 personal fouls out of the game. Yeah,
So the dumbest shit I've ever seen, man.
Yeah, I really didn't like this game from Pat Bev. I felt like the moments that he was trying to make impact did the opposite. And I think there's times to do certain things, and also I feel like Beverly, Bane got that technical, also weirdest technical ever, for shoving Finch. I mean, it wasn't really a shove; it was just like a
I don't know. You could
general
touch
push.
an opposing coach.
Yeah, that it's crazy that he even attempted that, but.
Yeah.
But okay, so Bane has a foul. Not that he was really going off that crazy on it. It wasn't like the last game, anyways. But that kind of seemed like an introduction for Beverly to maybe try something. Because he has 2 technicals to give, and like if we lose Beverly, it's not the end of the world for us. But yeah, I was kind of hoping for something like that, but then I guess it never really mattered because Bane never went like insanely off on us. Let's see. Well, he had 25 points tonight, but he was only 9 of 20 shooting, so it wasn't like some shooting clinic. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, I was not very happy with Beverly's game tonight, so I almost kind of want to give him like a D or maybe even Wancho.
Oh man, just like reliving what he was doing on the court, just like kind of irritates me. Like the jaw your small bullshit has got to end, especially when there's still 12 minutes left in the fucking game. Like you're just giving fuel for them, and they need something to get going. And we had all momentum, and you're giving them this little fucking like small thing. He comes right back at you, and I don't know, man. It was cool to see, Brooks kind of fall, forward when he was shooting, and Bane was off. That's not going to happen 2 games in a row. Beverly, like it's great to see, like all the prowess you have and possess, but like when push comes to shove, they're going to call the foul against you. You can't always just be this irritant and get us into situations time and time again. I was pretty mad about most of the game, man, and I wish that 3 was pretty clutch, but everything else I felt like was absolute dumpster.
Yeah. Well,
6 assists are cool though. That's all I'll say. Like
honestly, from the way we're talking about it, I think I'm leaning Wancho tonight. This is kind of crazy. I don't know if Pat Bev's ever had a Wancho on the show, but
yeah.
I think it's deserved. I'm not like disagreeing. I think that makes sense tonight. But
yeah.
All right, on to the big 3. This is where things get interesting, and I think we're gonna start with D'Lo. So D'Lo played the most minutes tonight, and contributed probably the least or took away from the team the most. 12 points, 8 assists, 2 steals, 2 rebounds, 4 of 10 shooting. Had 4 turnovers and 3 personal fouls. Man. Just a bad game. Bad game.
I think Memphis knows too. Like, cool, he can get hot, but show us, dude. Yeah. Prove it. Yep. Like, prove it. He's never going to prove it because he acts too slow. He acts so methodically imbalanced, and you can shove him with a fucking blow of your mouth, like just like a hut, and he's down. He's down for the count, and he's not getting back on D. And what I really liked from him in Game 4 was just his tenacity and his like willingness to grow with the team defensively. And I think what I saw from him tonight was the opposite. I felt like every possession was going to result in a turnover or some missed stupid shot, and that ice in his veins with 12 seconds left was the dumbest shit I've seen.
Yeah.
And well, it proved it reared its head when Memphis just took the game from us. So I think D'Lo does not have the clutch gene. What should have happened was Ant should have had the ball.
Yep.
And had a pick and pop with Cat. Like that's really what should have happened.
Really
and Ant should have driven to the rim and gotten the call or something stupid, something not what D'Lo did, not what D'Lo did. like Brooks is a good defender. I don't know what you're trying to say. Like, yeah, I can go one-on-one with him, and then off the backboard proves that he can.
Yeah. Gerald says even Cat should have the ball. It's just like, man, that is just very questionable.
I question. Okay, majority of teams I question late game offense and like kind of fluidity, and like we just ran a play for Ant to get that 3, and it was insane, right?
Yeah.
Just a really good solid look, and a killer like execution of play. We should have plays, but instead we just do the ISO dumb shit. The ISO, and it's Minnesota basketball in mixed caps, where we just do ISO transition, ISO like half court shots from Cat. Like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
And D'Lo, D-Row. I hated this, man. Fucking Wancho or worse.
Yeah, I want to give him Wancho. I'm even borderline Glenn Taylor just because this has happened multiple times now in key situations where D'Lo is trying to do these things that we were just talking about, or just has bad games in general in clutch games. He had some good games early on in the season, but like they're just so few and far in between.
Dude, it's like 1 every 20.
Yeah.
It's like Jeff Teague. It's like, what the fuck?
Can't rely on it, which is disappointing because you have this should be a perfect situation for him where he has Towns and Edwards that are going to be demanding the ball and demanding it, maybe even double teams. So he should have these opportunities to make shots, but instead he does his like huge pump fakes and then he drives, and he's not really like a driving point guard. So he either has to get bailed out by a call or find somebody, which he does. Right. I mean, he gets assists every game, but yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say Wancho, but I'm so close to a Glenn Taylor. I'm sure he'll do something in the next game that changes my mind. Bet he'll go back up to like A or something like that because that's how it works. But yeah, I'd say Wancho. I say Wancho tonight.
Losing my mind, just spinning, listening back to what you're saying, and just thinking about what was actually happening in the game. Okay, so beyond the fact that Russell was trying to, foul bait 1,000 times and only went to the line 3 times, so like that also didn't work, D'Lo. Your whole like half of your game is inept. Okay, the last play we get the rebound, bringing the ball up, we don't call a timeout. We're so young, inexperienced. We're not the Lakers. The teams can't go on a 21-0 run and you don't call a timeout. You call a timeout to get the play to keep the lead or to extend it or to regain it. Not to tie the fucking game, man. Fuck that. We didn't call a timeout. And what did we do? We had D'Lo say, yeah, you know what? I got it. I have 4 for 9. I haven't done damn anything this game. Cat, go away. Ant, shove off. It's me and Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be talked about, I think, in post-game shows and media, and just like what it is to be a young team and how to like close out a game, close out a potential series now.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do the dumbest shit alive and expect to get away with it.
Yeah.
We have better players than you, D'Lo. That's the fucking issue. You are a third option, and you're saying, no, it's my time.
Yeah.
1 every 20 games. Can't wait to see you in November of next year to get that next game.
Yeah, we said it multiple games ago in this series. We need to live and die by Ant this series, not by D'Lo. We need to live and die by Ant because Ant is 20 and has more poise and has more shot creating abilities than D'Lo. So we need to live and die by that. And hey, you know what? He's 20. If he misses some shots, makes some mistakes, that happens, And like tonight, he made a bad mistake late game defensively that we're going to have to live with because he's 20 and he's good enough to be in our starting lineup and he's good enough to be one of our top 3 players. So unfortunately, we have to deal with that. But like we should be dealing with the success and the failures of his offense as well. Like D'Lo is old enough now. D'Lo, I think D'Lo's probably like 26, 27, something similar to Cat, I think. At this point, I'm not saying it's too late for him to be a good shooter, but like he should not be this option. And in this important of a game, it's just frustrating. So I'm going to go with Juancho.
I'm going to go too.
Never mind. Cool. Well, let's do Anthony Edwards next. So Ant had 22 points in 34 minutes, 1 rebound, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 8 of 20 shooting. Did have 5 personal fouls as well. Only 1 turnover, but up and down game from Ant. He had some amazing shots, especially late. He had that one like step back 2, and then he had a crazy 3 at the end to tie it. Obviously insane plays for a 20-year-old to be doing. Made some buckets early, made some threes, but like a little bit of a lackluster game. You would hope for maybe a little bit more, but it didn't feel like a terrible game from Ant, but I guess kind of mediocre is where I'm saying.
Yeah, mediocre at best. It's awesome to have that bailout 3 at the end, and his first half stints was awesome. He led us with 14. He looked very in control, and despite his lackluster, like the rest of his box score, I thought he was going to come out and be, guns blazing and be very aggressive and help out with rebounding. He did not do that. Brandon Clark had 7 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter alone, and we had Anthony Edwards out there for like 4 or 5 minutes, and we didn't use him. We didn't use him to box out. We didn't use him to rebound. We just sat him in the corner. We just sat him on a player who's not going to get the ball. I just don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know why.
Well, probably because he had 5 fouls. That's the only thing I can think of.
I don't know why that, like, but defensive rebounding usually typically doesn't, cost you a foul here. Like, this costs you a little bit of energy.
True.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
you say C. I'll agree with you.
I didn't, but I agree. I didn't actually say a grade, but I think C is good.
I'm feeling like I'm playing. Like I have like 3 like mindsets right now. I'm just like I'm in the podcast, but I'm like not here, and I'm like trying to like digest the game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I'm not trying to like.
You're good,
dude. D'Lo, fuck. What the fuck? I'm sorry. Let's get to Cat, because Cat's the last one here.
He is.
28 points, 12 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 7 turnovers. 7 turnovers. However, 9 for 9 from the line, 5 for 7 from the floor.
From 3.
However, 5 fouls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From 3. I'm sorry. My bad. I have a grade for him.
I
might not be what you have.
Man, I don't know what I'm going to grade Towns tonight, because there's just so many different elements. I mean, he scored well tonight. The pressure didn't bother him in the scoring department. I shot well from 3 at the line, but then the 7 turnovers, the 5 personal fouls, some of those intertwine. He also had good defense. He had some good blocks tonight. But then, he's also at the same time dribbling between his legs, not even dribbling. He's just circling the ball through his legs, and then traveling. And he's fighting Vando for rebounds again. And he's passing and crashing again. So, man, I guess I'm ready for a grade. Let's 3, 2, 1 it. 3, 2, 1.
C.
Oh God, I changed it last second. I was gonna say C, and then I was like, no, it's probably a D. I guess for me, I mean, like, he did deliver some clutch buckets. The rebounding, I didn't mention that just now, but I did mention it earlier. He did have some good rebounding when he was in. I do love the defense, the steals, the blocks. I do love that. I mean, I know that means that he's playing aggressive and he's going to get 5 fouls minimum. But yeah, I guess I'm on the fence. Good scoring game, as we expect from him. But the fouls and the turnovers, they're just killers. And especially when you're fighting your own teammate for rebounds. And it doesn't even matter whose fault it is. Somebody's just got to stop. Just stop. and I've said this earlier in the season, I think there's this like not beef, but there's a little tension between Vando and Towns, because Vando is this like hustle energy, I'm going to grab everything kind of player, and Towns is this I need my stats kind of player. So there is tension there because Vando's just going for everything, and I don't even know whose fault.
Who's right in that situation?
Who's right? Yeah, really, I don't know. Well, not Towns, but yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating. We've all the things that we harped on all season long, and I know everybody on Twitter is going to go take their victory laps again because Cat scored 28 and had 12 rebounds. But like, realistically, can we please look at this a little bit more with like a finer tooth comb or something? Like, can we look at the mistakes that he's making? Because we can't just look at Towns score 28 and get 12 rebounds and be like, good job, Cat, I guess you did your best. Because he didn't. He did not do his best. This was a pretty bad game from him. Sure, it's in the realm of like a decent game, but like 7 turnovers, and just some of them are just like the most egregious things ever that we've seen. Timeless times this season and his entire career. So I don't know. That's my soapbox for tonight. But I don't know. It's just frustrating to have this keep happening, and especially in the playoffs when we've been talking about it all season. And this is why I hope that even if it is in a loss of a series, hopefully Cat is listening to the national media so that he doesn't just get all of his feedback from his Twitch streams.
I mean, you pretty much said everything that needs to be said. I think he played a hell of a game offensively. I want this version of Cat output every game.
Yeah.
I want him to get to the line as much as he did, and even potential fourth foul that we went and challenged it. That was great, but like we lost the challenge. I think you need to just be fucking smarter at every state in the game. I think this like voltage headless mindset of yours is what we have to deal with, and 7 turnovers is what we don't have to deal with. The 7 turnovers probably resulted in double digits on the other's end. We got so sloppy, and our leader is supposed to be Cat, and he said, "You know what? Slop around with me. Let's just slop around."
Yeah,
I think this loss is on him, even though D'Lo stank it up, even though Ant, with the overextension on defense to get Ja free layup, like that was bullshit.
So frustrating.
This loss is on Cat 100%. You think it's D'Lo?
I think so. I mean, Cat had offensive production tonight, even with the crazy amount of turnovers, and I still hate it. But I think this is more on D'Lo than it is on Cat, more on D'Lo than it is Ant. Beverly a close second for it. I don't know. It's like there's all these different elements. Like, of course, the Towns turnovers are insanely bad, and I am not necessarily the hugest fan of his gameplay, but like, I don't know. I think he did keep us in. He did have some clutch moments. So I guess I'm kind of putting this loss on D'Lo. I guess that's my take. But
we haven't seen him
slop around.
We haven't seen him all series, man. We haven't really figured out where D'Lo fits in this game, in the series. And if he does, it's with him chucking. And I don't rely and trust and know what we're going to get from D'Lo chucking.
Mm-hmm.
The range is cool and all that, but it's inefficient and it usually looks bad. And JJ's right there for a block. It's like, so you can't even shoot with your feet flat-footed because he's just going to block it. Your show is so slow and antiquated to the degree that it is. Like, they're just going to block it. That's what happened that first game.
Mm-hmm.
D'Lo was a little extra aggressive, which I liked, but that's why Jaren Jackson had 7 blocks. It was all D'Lo shit. Like, it was seriously that bad. D'Lo is the cause of this the series going the way it is. I am sad because I feel like we match up so well despite our size disadvantage to Memphis. I think we can outshoot them from 3 with 2 of the best 3-point shooters on our team, gunning for it. And then we have like 8 or 9 threes from our bench, just like, or like from the others, just like routinely, that I feel like, we can offset whatever they throw at us. That's 18, to 21 points guaranteed. We have to gang rebound. Anytime they get an offensive rebound, that's usually an extra bucket for them. That's usually extra free throws for them. And I swear to God, that's what Finch is gonna basically talk about his entire post game, is about how we just decided to not rebound together as a team. That's how we lost this game.
Mm-hmm.
Sloppy, without discipline, sticking to fundamentals that are not in this game, just nowhere to be found. Sloppy execution, oops that are oops and not oops. It's just crazy, man. And I thought we could have taken the series, and I don't. And now I have significant doubts now.
Yeah. Well, Game 6 is on Friday. We have a couple days off.
I think it ends in Memphis. I think it ends in Minnesota. Game 6. I think it ends. I don't know how we can get out of this. We've lost every single way possible. A close loss due to absolute nightmare, atrocious D, and like ineptitude. We lost that insane double-digit lead, 20-point lead twice.
Mm-hmm.
We lost by 30, as you pointed out earlier in the broadcast. We gave up in the second quarter. Like, what the fuck, man? I don't know what other version of this team we're really going to see. And they have been kind of adapting. There were some things I saw tonight that Memphis was doing that, like, we weren't ready for.
Mm-hmm.
Ja was deliberately going to one side of the court, and Bean was open on the other side.
Yeah.
Several times tonight.
They're just trying to spread it out as much as possible so that he can try to drive again. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I have a take for Game 6 yet. I guess, obviously we have different moods right now, but I won't be surprised if we lose at home for Game 6, just because Memphis can take it now. This is a very, having Game 6, I don't think they're going to be like, you know what, we're going to take it easy. We can win it at home, even if we don't win at Target Center. I think they're going to come into this game like angry, ready, and looking for blood. I'm not saying that the Timberwolves are not going to also be in that same mode, because their backs are against the wall 3-2. But I think it comes down, at the end of the day, it just comes down to me believing more in the shooters that Memphis has, and their offense that they can run versus our offense that we can run. Not to say that our defense has been so atrocious against them, but I don't know. I guess I just have more faith in the Grizzlies than I do in the Timberwolves, which makes sense. They've had playoff experience last year. We did not. They were a 2 seed this year. We were a 7 seed. So it all kind of makes sense to me, but I'm excited because I'm going to that game. So I will hopefully be coming back smiling. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if I really want to jump too much into predictions, because maybe we'll do another video, another preview video, maybe like tomorrow or the next day, something like that. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Obviously, I know this is a gut-wrenching loss in some ways. A game that we easily could have won and had a home court advantage again. And taken home in Game 6. How amazing would that be for Target Center and the Timberwolves? But I wouldn't completely count us out yet, but we will have a preview video up on the channel. So if you're new here, subscribe. We're live after every game, even the demoralizing losses. And we are also here to do some previews and all that kind of stuff. And the next show, it's possible, could be our last of the season, at least post-game shows. So you'll definitely want to tune in and see what we have to say. And then hopefully we're looking towards a Game 7. But I think that's it from us. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add, Ashwin?
Nope. I'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Well, I will see you all Friday night. Remember, I'm at the game, so it'll be a little bit later. So watch Timberwolves Dailies before us. But then
it's going to be stupid late, my friend. It's the 7 o'clock start for you guys.
I don't know exactly.
9 o'clock start.
Well, I'm not sure. They haven't decided it yet, I don't think. Or have they? No, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow it gets decided, because it depends on like the Bucks game, and it depends on another game. I can't remember. I think the Warriors game. The Warriors should win. But Alan Horton put something out. Go check it out on his Twitter if you guys are wondering, because he put out like all the different scenarios that it could be. It's all over the place. But anyways, enough of that. 52 wins, still possible. Wolves in 7, 6 cents. Yes, I love the positivity. And intro as the outro. We'll see you Friday night.